Tribal Combat comes to Italy.
Oba gets beaten up.
And Brock's not retired. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX, the best wrestling channel you've never heard of. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
So, after recapping last week's Raw, we see Roman pull up, exit his car, get handed his title, and then speak with Adam Pearce. Pearce wants to fire Fatu, whereas Reigns wants to call him out. As the two speak, Fatu's music hits, and the Samoan werewolf heads out. When he gets in the ring, he calls out Reigns straight away, saying he's going to dog walk his ass, but instead of Reigns, he gets the Usos with a chair. Jimmy says to Jacob, "You told us you'd do anything to give your family a better life, and part of that was to acknowledge the tribal chief. You lost at Backlash, and you were supposed to acknowledge him. Then you put your hands on management, and now they want to fire you." Jimmy alludes to Fatu going back to his old life and prison, with Jay then trying to launch an attack, but Fatu beats him to the punch. Jimmy joins in to help his brother, but gets the death grip placed on him. This buys Jay some time to hit Fatu with a chair, but Fatu zero sells it and puts Jay in the Tongan death grip too. As Jay starts to fade, the OTC's music hits and out walks Reigns. He enters the ring with the pair then throwing hands. Reigns gets the upper hand, but as he goes for a Superman punch, gets caught in the death grip. Jay then comes back and super kicks Fatu twice, followed by a spear, with Jimmy then landing a splash from the top rope. The Usos then treat Jacob to a one-day before tying him up in the ropes, allowing Reigns to land a Superman punch. The Usos land stereo super kicks, with Reigns then landing another Superman punch. One more round of super kicks is then finally followed by a spear. As the Bloodline then make their way up the rampway, they cross paths with Adam Pearce, with Roman saying he can now fire him. Pearce says with pleasure and then addresses Fatu, but before he can continue, Fatu gets on the mic and says tribal combat. Pearce says we don't need this and is about to fire Fatu, presumably, with Reigns then stopping him and saying he accepts. Cole then alludes to this being at Clash in Italy, but we don't really know. But then later on in the night, we do find out that it will be tribal combat between Reigns and Fatu at Clash in Italy. Now, can I please get a break?
No. We then get a vignette from Finn Balor and JD. Balor thought JD had his back, whereas JD says Balor has changed.
So first up tonight, Finn Balor versus JD McDonagh. I'm sure we've already seen this many times, but this time it's a street fight. We get cheers and kendo sticks in the ring before we head into the crowd and see a moonsault from JD off some ringside equipment. We eventually get back in the ring where JD gets put through a table with a shotgun drop kick, and the follow-up coup de grace misses. 2 counts are exchanged, with JD then looking to moonsault Balor through a table.
Balor gets up though, fights JD off and then places him on the table before looking for a coup de grace. This is foiled though as Dom shows his face and stops Balor, with JD then recovering and superplexing Balor through the table. JD covers again, but only for 2. Dom then throws in a couple of trash cans, with the pair using them on Balor before Dom sets up for the 619.
JD holds Finn in place, but as Dom sets off for the move, Finn overpowers JD and switches places with him, meaning Dom 619's JD instead. Balor then attacks Dom, taking him out before placing a bing over JD. He's then hit with a shotgun dropkick and coup de grace before being covered for the 1-2-3. Hopefully,
it's over now.
This is done now.
Backstage, Kathy Kelly asks Seth Rollins if it's wise to continue to go after the Vision, even if it causes friction with other superstars. He knows he's a marked man with no allies, but knows he has to end the Vision. He adds that sometimes to get out of a situation, you have to run right through it, with the former Vision leader then saying he hasn't had a match on Raw for 9 months.
That's a long time.
He says Adam Pearce has given him the main event and wants to take on anyone from the Vision, but pretty much calls out Bron Breakker, asking him to show him who he really is.
We then cut to Byron Saxton asking Sol Ruca how she feels about her matches on Raw so far. Ruca says she's pleased she's had these opportunities, adding she's put the locker room on notice. The pair are then interrupted by Becky Lynch. Becky reminds her of the 2 matches she's had and the fact she's lost both. Fair point. Suggesting she should leave and be gone. Ruca agrees and goes, but to the ring.
Sol calls out Becky with Lynch then heading out. Sol wants to face her right now, but Lynch declines. She goes through her usual trope before offering to face Sol at Saturday night's main event. Ruca agrees, saying she'll snatch the IC title. Lynch says no one said anything about the title, I'm the prize, and then leaves.
We do then later find out that it will be Lynch and Sol Ruca at Saturday night's main event, with no title on the line. So Ruca's going to win that. When there's no title...
Yeah.
We then cut to the Vision with Bron telling Paul Heyman to make the match against Seth. Heyman says it'll be Seth versus Theory, with Breaker then saying he wants to speak to Heyman alone. Breaker says he can beat Seth, with Heyman agreeing, and then adding that now you'll know where Seth will be, what time he'll be there, and that his hands will be full. Breaker then breaks into a smile before heading off.
Next up, El Grande Americano and Las Americanos Hermanos versus El Grande Americano and Las Americanos in a trio tornado match.
Yes.
This is busy. With a ton of top rope moves, we have a triple German suplex followed by a triple moonsault and triple cover, but only for triple twos. It's finished off by El Grande Americano headbutting Julio with the loaded mask, of course, and covering for the victory.
So who won? El Grande Americano.
Someone in a mask.
We then see whatever the hell this is delivering some food to Otis and Tozawa before learning that at Clash in Italy, as I aforementioned, Roman Reigns will be taking on Jacob Fatu in tribal combat and defending his World Heavyweight Championship. We get a little lesson on tribal combat before heading backstage, where Kathy Kelly asks the Usos to explain what Reigns and Fatu are walking into, even though we've just been told.
Yeah.
Jay says it's sacred combat and that it can be brutal, but saving us from what we already know is LA Knight. He says, I thought we had a thing with the Vision, with Jimmy saying, not now. And apparently whoever wins this tribal combat is then tribal chief. I can't see Fatu winning this. Absolutely ridiculous. That guy in charge.
Crazy. No.
Crazy.
We then have an interview from earlier today between Michael Cole and Ethan Page.
The librarian.
Cole says he has everything, but his ego could let him down. With Page saying...
What ego?
It's not ego, it's
Who
confidence. Vowing to beat Penta at Saturday night's main event. There was a little more, but nothing of interest, because he's really boring to listen to.
Oh, gee. Brie Bella and Paige defend their WWE Tag Team titles next against the Judgment Day, with, of course, Liv Morgan at ringside. As we near the end of a back-and-forth match, Liv, of course, tries to run interference, but gets caught by the ref. The ref then tells Liv to get out of here, but doesn't see Rodriguez slide one of the tag titles to Perez, who then tries to hit Brie with it. Brie ducks, though, and then rolls up Perez for the 1-2-3. After the match, the Judgment Day attack the tag champs, but Lyra and Bayley come out for the save. We also learn that Brie and Paige will be defending their tag titles at Saturday night's main event against the Irresistible Forces, because, of course, Lash spoilt this last week on SmackDown, saying we're going to be having them titles back at Saturday night's main event before anything had been said. Well done, Lash.
We head to the parking lot next, where LA Knight tells Seth he doesn't like him now and didn't like him then. He's going to get stomped out and then he's going to need help. But he ain't going to find help from him.
Penta then cuts a promo on Ethan Page about their upcoming match at Saturday night's main event, with the ruler then heading out, Oba Femi. His challenge is open for business, and he's answered by Brock Lesnar, who's retired. Lesnar attacks while Oba's still posing and hits him with 4 F5s before leaving the ring. Now, I thought something was afoot. You did mention it when I'd said it. Maybe it was just a thought for you as a thought for me. But at every opportunity following Raw, I'm not sure if it was SmackDown, but just Raw, since WrestleMania, either Michael Cole, Corey Graves, or somebody else has mentioned, oh yeah, Brock's retired.
Yep.
He has retired. He's not coming back. It was all in different. Just a little. Yeah, he's retired. And I always thought there's something going on. Why do they keep mentioning? You don't keep mentioning it, and they have been mentioning it, and he's clearly retired, not retired. But I will say, listening to the crowd, there was mixed reaction. There was cheers to start with, and then there was some boos. Now the boos could have been of two things. First one, he's beating up Oba, and nobody wants that because they like Oba. Oh, come on, Oba. Second of all,
especially doing 4.
Yes. Yeah. Second of all, Brock, you've retired.
Yeah.
You put your stuff in the ring, and now. But I'll go into that on musings a little bit deeper. So stay tuned for that. And if you like what we're doing, please subscribe. But just like us. You'd be like, you know what, you guys, you're not brilliant, but you're all right.
We come back from the break and see Adam Pearce backstage telling his lackeys to find Paul Heyman. As they head off, Pearce enters his office and finds Heyman standing there. Pearce asks what he just saw and that he filed retirement papers on Lesnar.
Did he?
Heyman says Brock is retired and then pulls a contract out of his jacket. Heyman says it's a contract for Clash in Italy with Brock Lesnar's...
That's what he said, Lesnar.
Yep, signature already on it. All Pearce has to do is to get Oba's signature on it, and they'll have the biggest rematch in history. I don't know who Brock Lesnar is, though.
No, that was funny. But I'm not sure if it's...
I don't know if it was on purpose or not.
No, it wasn't, because he was going to correct himself, and then he stopped himself, and he was like, I've just got to go with this now.
It's done.
Not sure if it's the biggest rematch in history. I mean, I'm thinking Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. Oh, that's just my opinion.
Fair.
We head backstage where Kathy Kelly has the Street Profits and asks them how confident they feel heading into Saturday night's main event. Of course, they don't feel very confident, no. Dawkins says they're ready, with Ford saying they're going to walk out of Saturday night's main event as new tag champs. Something then catches Dawkins' eye, with Ford saying, if you want to waste your time, be my guest, but don't expect me to get involved. We then see Dawkins head over to Seth, who's readying for his match, and seemingly about to thank him for the save last week, when Rollins stops him. He says he has no friends and no one trusts him, but thanks Dawkins for understanding what he tried to do last week, before then heading out for his match.
So, to the last match of the night and the main event of the evening, Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory, with Paul at ringside. Rollins dives out at the pair to kick things off before we head back into the ring and the match starts. Austin has the start, with Paul getting involved at one point and pulling Seth from the apron. Seth, of course, fights back and counters a move by Theory into a powerbomb and covers for 2.
He then looked for the stomp, but Theory had been working on Seth's knee and leg, so Seth couldn't perform it and opted for the pedigree instead. Theory powered out and after a 2 count put Rollins in a half crab. Theory then looked for a stomp, but Rollins countered and then looked for a super stomp, but Theory got the ref's attention, allowing Paul to push Seth from the middle rope.
Theory then lined up and executed a stomp before covering for 2. Paul then produced some brass knuckles and handed them to Theory before getting the ref's attention. Theory went for Rollins, but Seth countered into a super kick before getting the knuckles. Seth was going to use them, but the ref took them off him. Seth then hit Paul, who was on the apron, with Austin then rolling up Seth. Seth countered, Theory countered, and then we ended up in a pedigree situation,
Nice.
which was hit. Seth then covered and picked up the win.
I mean, that was it then, yeah?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. Of course it wasn't. Seth was then jumped by Paul, with Dawkins heading out for the save. He was soon overpowered by the tag champs, with Ford then heading out very reluctantly. He crotch chopped Paul, clearly a huge fan of the Attitude Era, before kicking him and sending him from the ring. Ford then dives out at the Vision before getting back in the ring and berating Dawkins for heading out.
Breaker then heads out, enters the ring and targets Dawkins with a spear, but Ford pushes him out of the way and takes it. Breaker then drops Dawkins, with Seth then coming back. Seth bests Breaker and looks for a stomp. but Paul holds his leg, allowing Breakker to hit a spear. Breakker then looks to end Seth by smashing him with the ring steps, but Adam Pearce and backstagers head out to stop him.
Whew. Breakker manages to spear Rollins again. We think the camera angle wasn't great,
No.
with the pair separated once again. The Vision then head up the rampway where Paul Heyman greets them, with Raw then going off the air. Now, I'm not sure where this is going, because we said a few weeks ago, surely it's the Profits and Rollins against the Vision.
Yeah.
But they decided to put Joe Hendry in
Yeah.
and tease us. You're not having Seth. You can have this other guy, but you're not having Seth.
Yeah.
So surely now this has got to be Seth and the
Your big old
Profits
six-man
at
tag.
some point.
Yes.
They get probably on Raw next week.
Yeah.
Because we've got a bit of a Profits against Vision tag match on Saturday. So I'm maybe thinking Raw next week, but it's heading that way.
Definitely, yeah.
But we'll lead this to Michael's moment of the night, which is right now. This could be a match, a line, a local promo, something funny, interesting, quirky, different, just something that catches my eye. Obviously, it has to wait until the end, because if I do it halfway through and it's something that happens at the end, it's kind of a spoiler, and we don't want that. So Michael's moment of the night is, well, it's not what I wanted it to be, so I haven't really got one, but what I wanted it to be, I was anticipating Knight getting involved in the final act as well. Because obviously, Knight's already said, I ain't getting involved, I'm not helping you. Ford said to Dawkins, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So then you've got the final match, Seth's out there, and then you see Dawkins running out, and you're like, yeah, okay, fair enough. And then Ford runs out. But it might not have been Ford, it could have been Knight.
Yeah.
But Ford runs out, you're like, yeah, but they get battered. And they're on the downer, so I'm thinking, yes, Knight's going to come out. Love it. You've got all the good guys, the faces, whatever you think of Seth, whether he's in the middle, whether he's a heel face or a face heel, or he's a face. You're like, yeah, here we go, all the good guys are coming out, but Knight didn't show.
No.
So therefore, my moment of the night didn't actually happen.
Because you just made it up in your head.
Made it up in my head.
Nice, I like it. Now, if you have your own thoughts or views, want to make some stuff up, want to share with us, then please do so and leave them in the comment section just down below. Also, don't forget to go check out our Musings video, where we talk more about what's happened this week in WWE, with a new one dropping every
45th of June.
Wednesday.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As you can see, we get full enjoyment out of this. Absolutely loved it. It's just funny. It's just funny doing it.
And we'll see you Wednesday for a look at this past week in WWE, and Saturday when we take a look at SmackDown.
And Saturday night main events predictions.